Jesus says that World War III is coming, the nuclear war, and that he told me how Russia is going to stop, how Russia is going to shoot down all those nuclear missiles. Jesus said that Russia will use its new anti-ballistic missile system and the surface-to-air SAM systems S-400 and S-500, that all those three will work in conjunction as a defense network in the event of when the nuclear war breaks out. And that they're not just used for shooting down fighter jets or other small cruise missiles, but they are also designed to shoot down nuclear ballistic missiles like the ICBMs, IRBMs, and MRBMs, the intermediate range, as well as intercontinental, the long-range nuclear missiles. I have a couple of videos here I will show you, and as a matter of fact, Jesus picked out these two particular videos for me to share. So here they are.
The integral parts of Russia's next-generation S-500 Triumphant M anti-aircraft missile system are at the final stage of their trials. CEO of the Design Bureau of Special Machine Building, part of Almaz anti-defense manufacturer, Vladimir Dolbenkov said in an interview with a National Defense magazine on Thursday. In the interests of air and missile defense troops, the enterprise's specialists have developed equipment units for the Triumphant M next-generation mobile anti-aircraft missile system. As part of this effort, they have developed and are completing the trials of units for the surface-to-air missile system, the launcher. The elements of the multifunctional locator and the missile defense locator, the equipped chassis for the combat control post and transporters for the long-range radar system, he said. Russian Deputy Defense Minister Alexei Krivoruchko said in an article published in the corporate magazine Radio Electronic Technologies of the Kred Group in February that military specialists had held the trials of the world's unrivaled surface-to-air missiles for the latest S-500 air defense system last year. The Deputy Defense Minister said in an interview with the Defense Ministry's newspaper Krasnaya Zvezda in December 2019 that the preliminary tests of the S-500 anti-aircraft missile system would begin in 2020 and the commencement of its serial deliveries to the troops was scheduled for 2025. Russia is developing the S-500 with a view of its operation in the next 25 years. As the Western media reported, the new Russian missile system struck the target at a range of 481.2 kilometers or 80 kilometers more compared to any existing missile system. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu earlier said that the deliveries of the S-500 to the troops would begin in 2020. Russia has been training specialists to learn to operate the new system at the Military Academy of the Aerospace Force in Tver since 2017. The Prometheus S-500, also known as the 55R6M, Triumphator M, is a Russian surface-to-air missile, anti-ballistic missile system intended to replace the A-135 missile system, currently in use. And add the S-400. The S-500 is being developed by Almaz Anti-Air Defense Concern. Initially planned for production in 2014, currently targeting 2025 for distribution. With its characteristics, this will be very similar to the U.S. Terminal High Altitude Area Defense THAAD system. S-500 is a new generation surface-to-air missile system. It was designed to intercept and destroy intercontinental ballistic missiles, as well as cruise missiles and hypersonic aircraft. For air defense against airborne early warning and control and for jammed aircraft. With a planned range of 600 kilometers 370 miles for anti-ballistic missiles ABM, and 500 kilometers 310 miles for air defense. The S-500 will be able to detect and simultaneously involve up to 10 ballistic hypersonic targets flying at speeds of 5 kilometers per second, 3.1 miles per second, 18,000 kilometers per hour. 11,000 miles per hour to the limit of 7 kilometers per second, 4.3 miles per second, 25,000 kilometers per hour, 16,000 miles per hour. It also aims to destroy hypersonic cruise missiles and other air targets at speeds higher than Mach 5. As well as spacecraft, the target height involved can reach 180 to 200 kilometers, 110 to 120 miles. It is effective against ballistic missiles with a launch range of 3,500 kilometers, 2,200 miles. Radar reaches a radius of 3,000 kilometers, 1,300 kilometers for EPR 0.1 square meter. Other targets that have been announced to be maintained include unmanned aerial vehicles, low Earth orbit satellites, and space weapons launched from hypersonic aircraft, drones, and hypersonic orbital platforms. This system will be very mobile and will have a fast deployment. Experts believe that the capability of the system can affect enemy intercontinental ballistic missiles in the middle and end of the flight. But a report by Al-Mazani said that the external target marking system, RLS Drone HDM, and the Dawn 2 and Radar A-135 missile defense system would be able to intercept an early portion of the flight from enemy ballistic missiles, which is one of the final stages of the S-500 project. It has a response time of less than 4 seconds compared to S-400 less than 10. In May 2018, Russia conducted the longest ground-to-air missile test to date with the S-500. According to reports that cite anonymous sources familiar with U.S. intelligence on the program, the S-500 was able to reach a target of nearly 300 miles, 482 kilometers away, which is 50 miles further than the previous record. On June 4, 2019, the Russian Ministry of Defense posted a video showing the successful interception of a test target, which was a test of a new anti-ballistic missile system in the form of a long-distance to confirmed air missile. Although the nature of the air defense system being tested is not mentioned, it has been widely speculated to have been a test of the Prometheus S-500 long-distance service to the air missile system that entered production this year.
S-400 is a Russian-made anti-aircraft missile system. It's been called one of the most reliable air defenses around and can shoot down almost any target. The S-400 has a range of 400 kilometers and can track hundreds of targets simultaneously.
The S-400 is the real game changer. The reason is the multiple intercept missiles the S-400 system can fire. The S-400 supports 4 different missiles. The very long-range series 400 kilometers, 250 kilometers, 120 kilometers, and the short-range 40 kilometers. By comparison, the U.S. Patriot system supports only one interceptor missile with a range of 96 kilometers. But there is more. The 9M96E2 is one of the jewels of the S-400 system. It flies at Mach 15 around 5,000 meters per second or 18,500 kph. It can engage targets as low as 5 meters off the ground, and it can maneuver pulling up to 20 Gs. A human can withstand no more than 9 Gs with special pressure suits and helmets, and for only a few seconds. It is designed to knock out penetrating aircraft and missiles flying off the deck or just above ground and neutralize cruise missiles. Dr. Carlo Kopp, one of the world's top aerospace experts, says the S-400 has optional acquisition radars designed to defeat modern stealth aircraft such as the F-22 and the F-35. They work by operating in multiple frequency bands, including both VHF and L bands that can see stealth-protected fighters. Stealth designs have been built on low detection by X-band radars. The most common military and civilian radars, others such as C-band, now known as the GH band, are less prevalent. The F-35 has stealth protection mainly in the front of the aircraft, meaning that when it turns away from its target it is vulnerable. In time, the entire air defense system of the US and its allies, all based primarily on X-band, will become obsolete as China and Russia move towards stealth aircraft and missiles. Along with the radar enhancements which may or may not be delivered to foreign customers, Russia has a formidable integrated air defense system even though the size of its truly modern aircraft fleet is quite small compared to the United States and NATO. Russia lost a decade in the arms race when it had no money to develop and build new aircraft, and its economy today barely supports acquisition of effective numbers of new equipment. Indeed, one of the reasons Russia developed its air defenses along with wanting to counter U.S. stealth aircraft and cruise missiles is because it could not afford a big fleet of modern fighter aircraft. The U.S. administration and Congress should pay close attention to Russia's limited offensive capabilities, not too often in these days of anti-Russian hysteria in Washington. One use of the S-400 long-range missile is against standoff systems including flying command posts and aircraft such as the E-3 Sentry AWACS. These aircraft, which are used by the US and its NATO allies with a squadron stationed in Japan at Kadena AFB and in the UAE at Al Dhafra, are vulnerable to S-400 interceptors and lose their standoff range protection. We may be reaching the end of the AWACS capability, which were originally designed in the 1960s. The S-400 also has capability against ballistic missiles, a feature that surely attracted Saudi Arabia's interest. How good it is against ballistic missiles, no one knows for sure. The Russian breakthrough makes sense in technological terms. The US does not have a true competitor to the S-400 system, and the US is not anxious to see such systems proliferate. Too bad and too late. A complex solution to a complex problem. America's unique electronic warfare and radar suppression abilities includes the Growler, but also many other platforms and ancillary capabilities as well. This complex ecosystem of weaponry and sensors includes various surveillance aircraft, hacking and cyber warfare abilities, active suppression of enemy air defenses tactics and weaponry, along with low observable aircraft and long-range standoff munitions. The last two are especially potent when combined together and electronic warfare support is added. Firing long-range, low-observable stealthy weaponry from even a non-stealthy aircraft gives enough standoff distance to begin taking out an enemy's known air defenses at a safe distance today, the S-400 included in most cases. When a stealthy launch platform is used instead, you can use more plentiful weapons with less range, as that stealth aircraft can get closer to the air defenses being targeted than their non-stealthy brethren can. For instance, an F-16 may be able to get well within JASSM missile range of an advanced SAM site, while an F-35 could get within the outer edge of small diameter bomb range. When you add jamming support, these ranges decrease by a noticeable margin, depending on what tactics are used and what the capacity available is to employ those tactics. The problem is that against an advanced foe, you're not going up against a single SAM site or radar, but a full constellation of systems that includes aerial assets, just like the advanced integrated air defense system we discussed before. Here's Russia's S-400 missile system in action, and how the US would deal with it. That is why brochure comparisons of systems is nearly useless for such complex military topics. In real life, the Growler does not take on the S-400 alone, and vice versa. An advanced IADS including the S-400 in it will likely feature increased detection ranges against stealthy and non-stealthy aircraft alike. It will also make jamming more problematic, and could mean blinding even a portion of that network is much tougher due to multiple layers of redundant air defenses tied together. This is where cyber warfare and pinpoint strikes based on multiple sources of intelligence can be more effective than jamming or going after the surface-to-air missiles and sensors themselves. For instance, taking out the IADS brains, locations where the sensor fusion occurs, or striking the system's communications channels. As IADS sensor and fusion capabilities advances and as surface-to-air missile ranges increase, it may be necessary to use stealthy long-range networked weapons, long-range stealthy aircraft and all the other tactics we mentioned, including standoff jamming, in order to begin to degrade and eventually destroy an advanced air defense system. Additionally, this may be necessary due to other area denial and anti-access capabilities the enemy possesses. For instance, if a carrier cannot get within 1,500 miles of an enemy's shores, its aircraft will be incapable of striking targets. Bases within range of ballistic missile barrages may also be destroyed. As the cumulative effects of these first days of war standoff strikes take hold, the IADS should begin to buckle, and parts of this deadly air defense killing cocktail can be omitted. For instance, instead of using long-range stealthy aircraft to launch long-range stealthy missiles, stealthy fighters can be used to launch medium-range weaponry as their tankers can operate close enough to enemy airspace in order for them to be effective. Meanwhile, long-range non-stealthy aircraft can begin launching long-range weapons, which frees up stealthy long-range aircraft to begin pushing over or near the enemy's shores for direct attacks. Systems like miniature air-launched decoys can be used along with strike assets to push deeper into an enemy's territory, wiping out its air defenses along the way. As time goes on, a sanitized corridor should emerge over enemy airspace, where less complex tactics can be applied and at higher sortie rates. For instance, fighter strikes can be flown with electronic warfare and Wild Weasel support, without the need for standoff weaponry, or in some cases, without stealthy aircraft at all. In other words, it takes a complex cocktail of jamming, surveillance and attack assets, both kinetic and non-kinetic, to take on any advanced integrated air defense system, of which the S-400 could be a part. And even then, you degrade and eventually destroy the enemy's air defense in a very throughout and methodical manner. So although it is an incredibly capable and critical weapon system, those who say the AN-18G Growler, or any other single weapon system for that matter, is some panacea for modern air defense systems are greatly simplifying a complex solution to a very complex problem.
Parts of Russia's next generation
The S-400 air defense system, and as well as the S-500, they have different variants of missiles they use that come in the package. S-400, for example, they have missiles that go up to Mach 15 and as high as 185 kilometers in altitude. That's space. And that they are fast enough to intercept and shoot down nuclear missiles. A lot of people underestimate these SAM systems, thinking that they are suitable for shooting down stealth aircraft and other fighter jets and small missiles like the cruise missiles. No, they are also used for intercepting nuclear missiles in the event when the nuclear war breaks out. That is the truth. Jesus told me, he pointed out to me exactly that, literally, he pointed out to me that the Russia's new ABM, anti-ballistic missiles, the S-500 and S-400, all of them will be used to shoot down nuclear missiles from the enemy. Basically shooting down all of them. So what happens is that when the nuclear exchange occurs, Russia country as a country as a whole will remain intact. The cities will be there. They're not going to get blown off by the nuclear blast because they all get shut down. As a matter of fact, people living in Russia won't even know when this happens because they will get shut down quietly in space, in high up in the air. S-400 tops out at Mach 15. S-500 missiles go around Mach 20 or higher. And I have no idea how fast the new ABM missiles are. They are designed to shoot down ICBMs, nuclear missiles, even at the early stage from the time when they are fired from the enemy. S-500 should be able to shoot missiles down, nuclear missiles down in the later stage, and the S-400 will be able to shoot down toward the end of the stage. So they have all these missiles working in conjunction as a whole system, as a whole unit, network, to shoot these missiles down. This is not coming from my own research. God led me to do research years ago. I actually started looking into these missiles, air defense systems, back in 2014. But turned out that it was Jesus that has been guiding me, showing me these things. And in the recent days, he told me literally that these air defense systems from Russia will shoot down, will intercept the nuclear missiles. It's really hard to believe because when nuclear war breaks out, because these nuclear missiles are so fast that you won't be able to shoot them down. That is our mindset as a people in general public, that if nuclear war to break out, that both sides would be destroyed and that Earth will be consumed with this radiation cloud where the whole planet would be destroyed. It's not true. That's not how it's gonna end. As a matter of fact, very small portion of the earth will be destroyed, but not all cities and not everybody will die from this. And when this war breaks out, the enemy of Russia, which is US, and her allies are the ones that will get hit by Russian nuclear missiles because Russian nuclear missiles are faster. They are hypersonic, they are glide vehicle that moves around different directions without following the trajectory pathway to get to the destination, to get to the targets. So they evade from air defense system missiles and be able to reach to the targets. And that's how America and her allies will get attacked and lose in this coming nuclear war. It's really hard to believe, but Jesus told me that it will happen that way. Because God enabled this to happen this way. He is the one that will manage it, so that the US and her allies will lose in this war. And that Russia will survive. People will not be, be killed from the nuclear blast. The large population. The cities will remain intact. And it is the other countries that will be in great danger. And Jesus pointed out to me that European countries, especially the EU, European Union countries that participate, that are part of European Union, I don't think they're going to be attacked. From what Jesus has been guiding me, telling me, they're not going to be directly involved in this nuclear exchange war. They will back off. They will not follow the US, the deep state order on attacking Russia. Because those countries will remain, and they are the ones who will be supporting the mark of the beast after the nuclear war breaks out. That they are the ones who will be funding, managing, and enforcing the mark of the beast, creating a new world order, forcing everyone to serve Satan. And Russia too, Russia as a country, as a Russian government, will also submit to the beast. All countries will submit to the beast. It is the individuals that follow God are the ones who will be saved and protected. And that's how the tribulation will be. I think that's pretty much what I wanted to say. Yeah, the war is really coming. I don't know when. I don't know when, how soon. But these things will happen. And Jesus is telling us, giving us prophetic messages, prophetic dreams, prophetic visions to show us, so that we can tell others, to wake people up. Because these wars are coming, and the tribulation will be unbearable. It will be terrifying. That we need to get ready and get right with God, so that we can receive protection from Him, and that He will deliver us from fear, and He will give us guidance and assurance what to do, so that we can make it through this turbulent, this terrible times that are coming. Okay, Jesus bless you.